Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Girl of Gen Z podcast. I'm your host, Clarissa, and today I have a special guest with me, Brianna. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. I'm so glad that you're finally on. I've been following you for quite a bit. And it's crazy how far you've come already, and you're only 20.
Thank you. I'll be 20 in November. Yeah, so I'm
You're
19.
not even 20 yet?
No.
Okay, because I was reading an article that said 19, and I was like, no, that's probably old. I didn't even look at the date. Oh my god. So wait, what? November?
November, yeah. I have a late birthday, so.
Do you have any big plans for November?
It's undecided.
Yeah?
I kind of just plan as I go, yeah.
Okay. Do you do that with everything?
No, just my birthday.
Okay. All right, so let everyone know a little bit about you. Who are you?
So I'm Brianna Corona, and I'm from Mississauga, and I've been doing music since I was 6 years old. I don't know, it's been so long, but I've been taking it seriously for the last year or so, and I'm just doing as much as I possibly can. I'm trying to make it a career, and outside of music, I work on the side a little bit, but otherwise it's my main focus.
Amazing. Yeah. What do you do on the side?
I'm just serving.
What? Yeah. Okay. I guess I can ask where in this, but is it a fine dining restaurant or is it a breakfast place?
Sort of. It's kind of like everything. It's a little bit of everything, to be honest. It's kind of hard to describe what it is. It's just a small business restaurant, though.
Okay. How long have you been doing that for?
Just about a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Same here. I didn't know you served. That's
really
crazy. So you like it then?
I do. Yeah. I like it because I meet a lot of people, and also it's an easier way for me to make money as a musician.
100%.
Yeah.
I find that a lot of people start that way. Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah.
Also was a waitress for a long
sure.
period of time. I'm sure other ones were too, but that's one that stood out in my memory.
Yeah.
Wow, that's sick. Do you do any of the bartending stuff too, or is it not like that there?
Kind of. Yeah. The small business restaurant, we don't have a bartender, so we just kind of make the drinks ourselves as we go.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you wear multiple hats.
Yeah, I guess so.
I love places like that because I find that you're not just limited to the one skill that they teach you.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. You learn a lot.
Yeah. So your upbringing, you were born in Mississauga?
Yes, I have lived here my whole life.
And you have how many family members?
I have 2 siblings and then my parents. So
and a dog.
Yeah, and a dog.
Would you consider that a family member? I don't know. I feel like a lot of people I talk to, it's one of the first things it's well, I have my dog.
It's true. Yeah. No, he's definitely family.
Because he's always on your Instagram. And your sister's not always on your Instagram stories. What kind of dog is it?
He's a cockapoo.
Oh, yeah. Cute. What's his name?
Charlie.
That's cute.
Yes, that's the classic.
So you guys spend a lot of time together.
We do, yeah.
You write music from home.
Yeah, he sleeps with me. He sits beside me as I play piano. Yeah, he's always with me.
He's just always around?
Yeah.
Do your parents work from home at all, or are they...
My mom works at the airport. My dad's an engineer. But they have opposite schedules. So one of them's home when one of them isn't. So
okay.
Always someone around.
Gotcha. And your sister?
She goes to university right now, so she's not living here at the time. She's in Hamilton.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. So let's get into your music. So how did you start? Did someone introduce you to an instrument? Did you just start picking it up at a young age?
Yeah. So I was 6 years old, and my parents put me and my sister in music lessons. They just thought it would be good. Kind of, it's a good thing to do.
A lot of parents.
Yeah.
It's like a default.
Yeah. And my sister didn't like it, but I loved it. So I just kept going with it. We were doing singing and piano lessons. And then they just kept me going with it because I seemed to like it. And it was a good hobby for me to have as a kid. And so that's kind of all it was for a while. It was just like a hobby. And then as I got older, I took it more seriously and I started doing more with it. And then they were like, oh, she can actually sing when they heard me sing at the talent show. So then they started putting more into it for me, putting me in vocal lessons. And I stopped taking piano when I was maybe 8 or so, and I just kind of taught myself because I didn't like the lessons, to be honest.
What did you not like about them?
I don't know. They were just they are very theory based, and it makes sense, but it just wasn't for me because I wanted to be able to play for myself and write my own songs. So it's like a different type of style, right? And I feel like I didn't need everything that they were teaching me in order to do that. So I just wanted to go and sit there and see what I could come up with on my own.
Right. So they taught you the fundamentals and you kind of just ran with it. And we're like, okay, well, now that you've taught me what I need to know, I can do the rest. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then I read somewhere that you play other instruments as well.
I do. I play guitar and ukulele, if you count that.
I think that instrument is so sick. It's I don't know. It's a popular instrument now. I find in the last few years, it's almost like a hippie, cool.
It is, yeah.
Cool thing that people pick up and learn how to play. Was it hard to learn?
Not really. it's like if you know guitar, you can kind of pick up ukulele. They're similar, even though one's 4 strings. But I just kind of looked up chords online and I watched a few tutorials, and that was that. It was pretty simple.
That's awesome. So would you say you like the ukulele better than the guitar?
Or
Or is it just like certain songs and stuff that you're like, hey, that one?
Yeah, kind of. Like I always write my own songs on piano. It's just kind of my main instrument, I think, because I grew up with it and it feels like home to me.
Mm-hmm.
But guitar as well is probably the second one, just because I feel that ukulele is it's very simple and you can't do as much with it. So I don't know.
Yeah, I can see that. It's a certain sound for
Yeah,
sure.
it depends on the person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have any other family members that play the instruments you play? I mean, you said your sister did piano.
She did it for like half a year when she was 6 years old.
And then she's like, no thanks.
Yeah.
Does she sing too?
No.
Okay.
She likes to in the shower, but that's it.
Don't we all in the shower? Because no one's actually listening.
Yeah. No, it's funny. Actually, nobody else in my family is musically inclined. I had
Really?
like a great uncle who played accordion or something like that. But that's all I know of. So
Yeah, accordion. I feel like I don't want to be mean, but it's like an old people instrument. Like my grandpa also played the accordion, and like my mom's talked about it here and there, and I'm like, yeah, but it's not like an instrument that's like, wow, like you know how to play that? You know what I mean?
So, yeah, it's really old school. So I think, yeah.
I feel like not many people go to a music school and sign up for that.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, maybe, but like not around here.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm just super ignorant and I don't even know because I'm not in that world. But yeah. So let's talk about some of your albums and releases. When did you, I guess you said you started first, like you're serious about it within the last year, but before that, did you release anything?
I did when I was 16, I believe. I just did a song with the producer and he kind of brought people in to do the instruments and I just wrote the lyrics and the song or whatever. And then we recorded that and released it. And then we did a remix of another song, some really, really old song. I don't think anybody knows. It's called Midnight at the Oasis. Yeah, nobody knows. It was cool though. It was really fun, and it was just fun to do both those songs. But I didn't really have much to write about. So
because you're 16, right?
Exactly.
So it's like if you have a lot to write about. I think I watched this in a YouTube video or like Instagram story the other day. Halsey's like 24, and someone was like, "How can she have so much going on in her life at 24? Like, how does she have this much to write about?" Honestly, but I guess when you're at that kind of fame level, you do have more to write about. But when you're 16,
there's not really much going on.
So how was that first recording session like? Like, how did you find the producer? Did your parents help you? Like, how did you seek all this?
You know what? I honestly don't remember how we met. I think it was through another music contact that I had, like someone that I knew as my vocal coach or something like that. And I think they kind of got us in contact. Yeah, it's all about that, honestly. And
how was that? Like working with him?
It was really nice. Yeah, it was fun, and it was just like we connected really well, and he was just like a great guy to work with, to be honest. Like he's so positive, and he was just all about the music, which I think is so important, like
passion's there.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a really good experience for sure.
Do you still work with him?
I don't know. I still like keep in contact with him now and then, but for when I started writing my own music, like original stuff now, it just didn't really work with that type of vibe. So I wanted to make sure I was working with somebody who could see my vision as well.
100%.
Yeah.
I find that that's so important. Like you guys can get along well, but yeah, if they don't see your final outcome and can help you create that, something's lost in that.
Yeah.
For sure. So have any of your songs been played on the radio?
No.
Not yet? How does that,
Not yet.
do you know how that comes about? Like, do you have to call in? Do you have to like sell yourself? Do you have to go to the station? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to do it, to be honest. Like, there's so many different ways, and it really depends on the station too. So like smaller stations that aren't like not like the Chum FM or ones like that, you can if you get on them, you can always like submit your music in person, or you can submit it online, or there's also sites where you can pay to have your stuff on the radio, but it's a lot of money. Like,
yeah, I bet.
Yeah, especially if you want to go on like the bigger stations. But yeah, there's so many ways to do it. You can pay for it, you can submit it. You have to have like the proper licensing and everything.
That sounds like a whole process in itself.
It is, yeah.
Oh my God.
There's ways, but it's very complicated. Yeah,
it's a process in itself. Oh my goodness. So how is your writing process at home? Like, so you write at home, or do you go to Starbucks? She used to work at Starbucks, and I used to work at Starbucks, not the same one and not at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't think. But Yeah, where do you write your music?
Yeah, I generally write it at home. There have been a few songs that I started outside of home. I don't even remember where. Like I was in a park or something, because it's like wherever I am, and if something comes in my head,
I was
I'll
gonna
write it
say,
down.
do you like write it down?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Especially if I think like it's a good one, you know.
Like, of course.
So if something comes to my head, I'm like, oh, I need to write this down. Like, give me 1 second. Even if I'm with somebody, it's funny. And then,
but they get it. I'm
sure, for sure.
Like, hold the combo for 1 sec.
But I usually always come back to it at home where my piano is, and then I'll like kind of work it out on the piano.
Is there ever an instance where you write something down, then you come home and you're like, crap, like I forgot. I don't know how this is supposed to go from here.
Yeah, oh my God, all the time. Yeah.
Yeah? And then do you ever like come back to it days after, like, it came to me. I got it.
Sometimes I'll create like a whole new melody for it.
Okay.
I'm like, this isn't what it was, but this works too.
Does that work out in your favor?
Sometimes here and there. Sometimes it doesn't.
So it really depends. It really depends.
Yeah. It's a trial and error.
That's so funny. Oh my God. So have any of the songs on your newest album been those?
I think I'm trying to remember. I think Sober, actually. I don't know if you've heard that one, but I believe I started writing it outside of home. I don't remember where I was. I was somewhere outside, and I just like got inspired and I started writing about it. And then I only had like a verse or two, but I didn't record it. And so I got home and I was like, I have no idea how this goes. And I was just like, whatever, I'll just come back to it. And then I came back like a week later, and I don't remember if it was the right melody or not that I had originally came up with, but it worked. So I just kind of went with it and I kept writing it. Yeah.
Okay. So do you have a vocal coach as of right now?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. Same one since you were little, or
I went through a few. She's been my vocal coach for.
Went through a few.
Yeah.
What does that mean? They just didn't see your vision, or they just couldn't.
Yeah. No, honestly, like it just didn't work. Like sometimes, I don't know, I feel like I got everything I could out of them and there wasn't any more to learn. But with my vocal coach now, I feel like I'm always learning from her, and she knows a lot about the industry as well. So she helps me in that sense too.
Amazing.
Yeah, I've been with her since I was 11, I believe.
Okay, so still a pretty long time.
Yeah,
so she'd seen the growth and the
for
progress.
Sure. Yeah. She's like my friend.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Holy crap. So do you have a music producer and director, like for your newest music video? Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that was so fun. So
it looks fun. You're behind the scenes. I was like, this is amazing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I wish I took so many more videos of that because it was such a good time.
I know, but when you're in the moment and you have like to get your crap done,
yeah,
you know what I mean? You're not thinking about all the details, but you almost like, just hire me next time. Yeah. I can just come along and film all the behind the scenes.
I know, for sure. No, but it was a really great process. So I hired a company to do it, and I didn't really know they were a company. It was kind of like just a group of people, and then
in Toronto based or Mississauga based?
Toronto, I believe. Yeah. And he was really generous. He brought extra people along, and he had like people for lighting and for like the fog machine or whatever. And, like,
amazing.
Yeah. So it was a much bigger production than the first one, and like both were like equally as amazing to do. Right?
Just different experiences.
Exactly. Yeah. And sorry, I forgot the question. I don't even remember.
So your music video, like, do you have a music director, a producer?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, the same producer did all my songs on my EP, and then I had a director for the music video, but it was kind of like directed with him and myself, and we just kind of worked together because I told him what I wanted to do and how I wanted to create it, and then he just helped me create that vision and make sure that it was happening. So it was kind of like two directors. It was like me and him. Yeah.
Right. So do you want to tell them what song it was? I don't know if we said.
Oh yeah, it was For Words.
Yeah. My favorite. That's my favorite.
Oh, thank you.
I love that one so much. So did you come up with like a shot list and how you wanted it? Like, did you create the layout, or did you just tell him and then he kind of visualized it on paper and you're like, okay, that works?
So we didn't have an exact layout. I knew that it was going to be a dance video because I hired some people to do that for me. And then, I just asked them to. I didn't pay them. They were just volunteers. So thank you so much for them. I did. I knew the one girl from high school, and I knew she was like an amazing dancer. And then I reached out to her, and she brought her friend out to do it as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that really worked out really well.
It always helps going to the art school.
Yeah.
Even if it's not the top one in the district, okay?
Exactly, yeah. But no, we got there, and the space was actually so much greater than we thought it was. So we had more to work with than we originally thought we would.
That's always good. That's the positive outcome. You don't want the opposite, where it's like it doesn't look like the pictures when you get there.
Yeah.
Was it in Toronto?
Yeah, it was. It was like a Etobicoke area, I believe. Yeah,
okay.
It was just like
it was a house?
No, it's like a warehouse / studio. So they had a bunch of dance studios in the building. It was so funny. We got there. I had no idea where it was. So I climbed under this garage, and I was like walking through this building alone. But I found it. It was amazing. Yeah. No. Yeah. It's like a warehouse / dance studio. It's like a whole building. They have a bunch of different things going on in there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how long was like the setup and stuff? Because you said they had extra people on the crew.
Yeah. So I wanted to keep it around 5 hours just because of budget, to be honest. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Did you have like catering or like food, or like did you work straight through?
So they were really nice. The people who worked there at the studio, they had a little cafe there, and then somebody brought some fruit and something, and they were like, "Oh, you want some coffee?" Like everyone was so nice, so it kind of worked out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It just adds to the day and the experience for
exactly.
sure.
Yeah.
No one's being like a hard ass. And
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I wasn't paying for the space. I was paying for the space, so not the food. So it was mainly that I wanted to keep limited to time for that reason. It took about 5 hours, and the setup was maybe like an hour or so, but we all kind of got there early, so it worked out. We just showed up at
important.
like, yeah, exactly.
Things can go wrong, it's like, because I went to school for television and film, right? So to get to your set or wherever you're supposed to be, location off site, and it's a disaster, things need to be changed, you're like, there's no outlets, like we need to plug things in, like little things like that you don't think of, but when you get there you're like, okay, well now we only have this amount of time, and we didn't really plan for this. Did you have any hiccups like throughout the day, or was everyone pretty like smooth sailing?
I'm trying to remember. I don't think so, to be honest. Like it went pretty well. Yeah, the dancers were so cooperative because like I can't imagine like they're re-dancing this thing over and over and over again.
Yeah,
it's
so
so tiring.
Good stretch, lots of water.
Yeah, and they just kept going. Like they were amazing, but I don't think so. We just had to stop a few times, let the fog machine recharge. That was about it. Yeah.
How did that go? Was that like easy to work with?
Yeah, we had one guy working with it, so it went
Did you
really
just
well.
turn it off and on?
Yeah, pretty much. But I had to like recharge every so often. So
like how often? Like once an hour?
I think so.
I'm like so intrigued by this fog machine. Like, did it have settings?
I have no idea. Honestly, I didn't know anything about the machine.
You just let them do their thing.
Yeah,
like, okay, this is when it needs to come, and that's it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just
I was like, I trust you.
Click your buttons, let it charge.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. So do you create all your songs by yourself, or do you have any help? Or
so I write them on my own. I write the music and the lyrics and the melody, but I work with a producer in the studio who helps me make them bigger than they are, right? And do the actual electronic production of it and all that. So yeah.
So what's being in the studio like?
It's really fun. It's like tiring. It's crazy. But it's just a good time, to be honest. Like I've been in there since I was 16, right? Because I went when I was 16. I've been in like a few other studios, and it just kind of feels like natural to me being in there. Like I feel really comfortable, and especially because I work with a guy who's really, really fun to work with, and he knows my vision. So it's just honestly being like in my second home.
Yeah. So what are your sessions like? Are they long?
It depends on what we're doing. Like sometimes I'll go in there and we'll just talk about what's going on next, and we'll be there for like 2 hours. And then if I'm recording a song, probably around 3 to 5 hours. Like it depends on how difficult the song is, right?
True.
And how much detail I have to pay attention to. But anywhere from like 3 to 5 hours. I think the longest I've been in a studio was maybe like 6 or 7 hours. But that was for something else. That was for the... Honestly, I don't remember. I don't know what it was for, but something like that. Yeah.
Are there any like difficult moments when you're in the studio and creating music?
I think
like technical based, or like your own creation when you're...
I think the most difficult things would be when I'm actually recording my vocals, because I just want to make sure that they're like perfect, right? And I want to convey the right emotion, but I also want it to be technically good. And sometimes I hear things back and my producer's like, it's good, and I'm like, no, it's not good.
Be honest.
Yeah.
He's like, I am honest.
Yeah, but like you're your biggest critic, right?
100%,
So,
100%.
yeah, I think that's like the most difficult part, because I just want to make sure everything is really good, and I listen to it so many times that I hear little things that I want to change. But sometimes you do have to let them go, because it might be like an emotional
you
thing.
could be working on it forever at that point.
Exactly.
It's the same thing when I'm editing. It's like, oh, this could be perfect, and then you do it 10 more times. You're like, okay, when do I cut myself off? When I'm like, okay, this is good. Like, I don't want it to be satisfactory, but at the end of the day, it's your name you're putting on it, and you're portraying, and you're putting out there for the world to see. So I completely understand that you're hardest critic.
Exactly.
100%.
Yeah.
So what helps you write music? What are things that like motivate you doing it?
Like what inspires me, or like everything, to be honest. Just
have you been in any like tough relationships?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was what a few of the songs on the album were about. The like broken letters.
Does he know?
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like he probably knows. I haven't
Well,
talked
he knows
to him.
you're like a music artist, so
Yeah,
I'm sure
yeah.
he checks in every now and then.
Yeah.
Like, what song she created about me this time?
I
Like
know.
Adele's ex-lover, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know if he knows that song is about him or not. It's good question. I honestly don't know.
Do you ever think he'll message you?
No, I don't think so.
No?
I don't think I'll bother because, like, at the end of the day, it's just my music. It's like nothing really personal. Like, I don't think he'd get offended. So
Yeah, I've listened to the lyrics. It's not. I don't think he's gonna come by anytime
I'm not
soon.
saying
Be like, hey,
that. yeah.
next time throw my name in there. I'm just kidding. What else was I gonna ask? I had so many questions that were like flying through these.
I know.
So you played at a music festival recently, like a Mississauga.
Yeah, I've
Is that
done a
Celebration
few.
Square? Was that the one? Am I thinking of the right one?
I did one at the park recently. I don't remember what it was called. It was called Art in the Park. I don't remember.
Yes.
I don't remember which park it was at. Somewhere down like Burnham Thorpe. But yeah, it was really nice. It was pouring rain though, so, unfortunately. So
Tell me there was a tent.
There was, but we didn't have a stage because it was just on the ground because they don't have an actual stage there. They just kind of set up a tent in the speakers. So the wires were getting really wet. So we had to cut the performance short.
You're kidding.
Yeah, they were like, we don't want you to get electrocuted. I was like, that's fair. So
They said that?
yeah.
Inclement weather.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So how many songs did you get to perform?
I still did quite a few because my set was about an hour and a half.
Oh,
and yeah.
That's like almost a concert.
Yeah. And I did about an hour, I think, roughly. So
how did that come about? Did they ask you? Did you reach out to them?
They reached out to me, actually. Yeah, it kind of goes both ways with events. Sometimes I reach out to people. Sometimes they reach out to me, right? And I think they'd seen me somewhere. I don't know. And I knew someone who was part of the Arts Council as well. And I think she suggested me. So they reached out and asked me if I wanted to sing. And I was like, yeah.
Connections. Back to those connections.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you sang for an hour and a half. Do you have a band? I didn't even ask that.
I don't know. I really wish I did.
So do you just have like the background music playing, like the instrumental version?
Yeah. It was just background music.
Okay, and then you just sing live.
Yeah.
That type of thing. But you want to have a band eventually?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I can't wait to perform my own songs with the band because I performed one song at a small concert. It was sober, but it was just with a pianist. But even then, it was just so much different to play it with live instruments. It just makes such a difference, right? And
you prefer it, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. It creates like the whole vibe, and it just like makes everything
just
so much
much more like united. I feel like.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not so like electric, like not electric. What's technology savvy, like just like playing background stuff.
Yeah,
not that that's how it is, but like in a way it is.
Yeah,
you
no,
know
it's a
what I
different
mean?
energy for sure.
For sure. So how was the other art in the park?
Like the one I just sang at?
Yeah.
It was good. Yeah, I didn't
Were you
really
there start to finish?
I was only there for the hour that I sang. I had to go. I had something else going on. I'm always like doing
Peace.
something. Yeah. No, but they were really understanding. I was like, I'm sorry. I got to go to another meeting. They were like, it's okay.
Yeah, you did your part. Thank you for being our art in the park.
But it was beautiful. I didn't even know they had that going on there. And it's a really, really nice park. I wish I remembered the name. Oh,
So then you can throw your own art in the park.
Yeah. And they have like a whole museum there, like the Visual Arts Museum.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they have like
In
art
the park?
and everything. It's in a building, but it's in the park. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a big turnout?
There wasn't too many people, only because it was pouring rain. I don't think many people want to come to the park.
It was on a weekend though, no?
Yeah, it was a Sunday, I think. Yeah.
Did your family go?
They did. Oh my gosh.
Did your sister?
No, she was in school. Fair enough, yeah.
Makes sense.
But no, my family like always comes to everything. My cousin was there, and my aunt, like everyone just comes. I was like, it's not that big of a thing, but
But like support means everything.
Yeah,
like big or
100%.
small. Like I remember when I did dance competitions, like I remember like at my recitals and my whole family, even my brother for the first 2 years, like he stopped coming for the rest. He kind of would just make excuses of why he couldn't come. We all knew he didn't like watching ballet, which like is fair. It wasn't my favorite genre either. But just watching them all in the third row because they were just early people, they would always be there like ahead of time to get their seats. It was like my sister danced too. So it was my mom, my dad, my grandpa, grandma, then my other grandpa and grandma, and my brother every now and then. So it's just like they'd fill the row and you'd see them like dead center when you're in the middle of stage. And it's like a nice feeling for sure. Like the people you care and love most are like there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, their support means everything. Like I really do appreciate it, and like I laugh because they bring everyone, but to like small things, but it really does.
You're like, this is my family. This is John and Charles, and you're just like listing them all off. Do you have a big family?
I
like
have
extended.
a big family. Yeah, kind of. honestly, yeah, they're all over the place. Like my dad's from Mexico, so I have a lot of family in Mexico, and they always watch my videos online. And they comment on my Facebook posts. It's so cute. And then my mom has quite a bit of family here as well. A lot of them live in the States, so we don't see them as often. But her family from the side comes out as well. Yeah.
So what are your backgrounds? Your parents' backgrounds?
My dad's
Mexican?
right from Mexico, and my mom's grandparents were from Poland, so like a little bit Polish and Mexican.
Do you speak?
I speak a little bit of Spanish. I don't speak any Polish. I can understand more than I can speak, though.
Okay.
Yeah, and I feel
Okay.
like whenever I go there, I pick it up
Sneaky,
faster.
because then it's like when people are talking right in front of you, like you can't respond, but you're like, I know what you're saying. Like,
Sometimes, yeah.
oh man, do your parents speak it?
They do. Yeah, they speak it fluently.
Like their own language or the other? Like, do they speak fluently to each other?
Yeah, sometimes my mom speaks fluent Spanish, and my dad, of course, does too. So she doesn't speak Polish though, because I think most of our family, we don't have any family in Poland. They like.
So you're like, no point.
Yeah.
When will we need that language?
Yeah, well,
I'm kidding.
My grandma tries to teach me, but I.
But can your grandma speak English?
She can, yeah.
Okay.
She knows Polish as well, so she always tries to say little phrases, and I'm like, okay.
Just like pick up on it.
Yeah.
Funny. So recently, right before we started recording, you mentioned that you did like a little radio show type thing. I
Yeah.
recently saw that on your Instagram too. How did that come about? Did you reach out to them? They reach out to you?
No, they reached out to me as well. So it was actually the Mississauga Music themed episode, and I'm nominated for the Mississauga Music Awards.
I saw. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll talk about that after.
Yeah. And so they reached out to me, and I guess they were having a bunch of artists that were nominated come on the show. And it was me and another guy that I know, and I think he might have mentioned me as well, because I do know him already. And then another artist that I met there. And they just asked me if I wanted to come on that day, and I was like, yeah, of course. It was really, really fun. I'd never done something like that.
How long was the session? And were you with other people speaking as well, or was it just one-on-one?
Yeah, it was me, the host, and then another artist. I think the name's The Identity Crisis, and then UN Jefferson, and they're nominees as well. So there's 3 of us total.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you guys in the same category of nominees?
No, we're all different. So I'm Best New Artist category, and then one of them is Best Music Video, I believe, and the other one's Best Live Performance.
Amazing.
Yeah, there's so many categories, to be honest.
How long was the session?
It was only an hour. They usually do 2 hours, but because they had the celebration for Bianca that day, so yeah. So I think
Crowd goes
that's why
wild.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. Did you see that that snippet on television? My parents were watching it. I was just like running up downstairs doing something, and they had that whole ceremony in Celebration Square.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
And they had, like, the mayor was there, like everybody was there, and then they did their whole spiels, and Bianca was about to speak, and she said like 2 sentences, and then they cut her off.
Really?
And then they went right to 6 o'clock news, and then my parents were like, what?
Oh no, I didn't
I was like,
see
this
that.
poor girl. Like, what? Like,
my
they're
goodness.
celebrating her and they give her 2 sentences. Who does that?
Oh my gosh, that's so sad.
Man, if you've been living under a rock, go watch that tennis match.
You're gonna go check that out.
I don't watch tennis, but like I work at a bar that, played the match. So
Yeah.
you kind of had to know what was going on.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's awesome. So have you made any deals with any of those people like afterwards that you did the little radio session with?
No, nothing like that. It's just good like to have those connections.
100%.
And like I know them now, and like we follow each other on social media, whatever, stuff like that. But I do keep in touch with one of the guys. He helps me with a lot of things like for music, just gives me some advice here and there. And
It's helpful when they know the industry.
exactly. Yeah. Just stuff like that. It's nothing.
So
too
how
serious.
did the Mississauga Awards, what is it? Mississauga?
Mississauga Music Awards.
How did that come up? How did you get nominated?
So it's funny. I wasn't really a part of the Mississauga music theme here. Like I was mainly in Toronto all the time, and like I still am in Toronto a lot. So I didn't really know we had like a group like that here.
It is a smaller city, so you would think.
And
It's crazy we have our own thing. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
look at you go.
And I met one of the guys who was in the interview, The Identity Crisis, and I met him actually. It was funny. He came in my restaurant. And I was working, and then I just started talking because he's an artist as well, so he was wearing his own merch. I was like, oh, like we're like, what's that? And then he told me, and I was like, oh, I'm an artist too. And then we just started talking, and then so after I met him, and then he put my name into the possible nominations for Mississauga Music, and then they just check you out on like social media, I believe, and they check out the music that you have, and then they choose the nominees from there. So and then he was like, oh,
So they kind of do it like the council?
I think so, yeah. I don't know who exactly.
So it's not the
does it.
citizens of the city or town that nominate.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And so I showed up to the event where they were announcing who was nominated, and I had no idea like what was going on. I just knew he threw my name in there, and then they announced me. So I was like, oh, that's cool.
That's sick. So when are the awards?
The 27th. So next Friday.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Where is this taking place?
It's at the Living Arts Center.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
Vice
like,
for one.
is your family going and everything, or is this just like a seat for you? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, I'm going. My parents are going. I don't know if any other my family are going. They always
Do you have to
surprise
purchase
me.
tickets? Like, how does
You
this go?
do, yeah.
Okay.
Artists get 2 free tickets, and then everyone else has to buy their own.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
It's nice
yeah.
that they even give you that, because some places don't. That's frustrating. Do you know anyone else that's nominated? Like, do you know who else is in your category? Did you like go crazy Google searching after that? We're like, who's my competition? That's what I would do.
I actually didn't. It's funny though, because my mom did. Because
What a mom!
Yeah.
My mom would do the same.
I just saw the names on when they announced them on Facebook on the Mississauga Music page, and they just put the names in one picture, and I was like, oh, like, and I just like briefly looked on Instagram, but I didn't have time to look for them all.
There was a lot. Was there a lot in the category?
I think there's like 7 or something like that.
Okay, I thought it was gonna be like upwards of 10. I was like, that's a little much.
No, yeah.
For one category.
Yeah, no, I just saw the names, and I was like, oh, cool.
I mean, have you heard of any other stuff?
A few of them contacted me. They were just like, oh, like, congratulations, nominated too. Like, everyone's really friendly, and then they were like, we should like collab, whatever. So I checked out like some of their things. Yeah, like honestly, everyone's so good. Like, they're nominated for a reason, right?
100%.
And
I'm sure they pick carefully.
yeah, exactly. When my mom goes, she's like, oh, like, did you check out like this girl? And I was like, no, who's that? And she's like, she's nominated in your category. Like, she's pretty good too.
Mom!
I was like, it's okay.
That's funny.
But yeah, honestly, like,
other-
it's just an honor to be nominated. So,
100%. Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. You're
Yeah.
going to be like the next pop star from Mississauga, and then you're going to grow to Toronto, and then you're going to be the next Drake. She's going to
my
be
God.
She's the North.
I don't know about that. But
I don't know. Would you be comfortable carrying that title? I feel like that's a lot of pressure.
it is, yeah. Like
Bianca, what's her last name?
I don't know.
I mumbled something that kind of sounds like
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I feel like it's a lot of pressure carrying that title.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like you don't know until you're in that situation, because it's so hard to even imagine how much is going on with you, like
100%.
in that position, right? But I'm sure it's a lot. Yeah.
Do you know any of the other categories?
So there's best music video, best album, I believe, best live performance.
Of like 2019 or would
Yeah,
it been?
yeah.
Yeah, I guess it would be
Yeah, I
2019.
believe so. And then there's best song. I think there's even best like director, best producer, something like that. Yeah, there's a lot.
Holy. So is this like an all afternoon event or evening or?
It's in the evening. I don't think it's too long. It starts at like 6:30 or something like that, and it goes till 10, I believe. So most of the evening, yeah, something like that. But
Okay. And then if you do get selected, then do you go anywhere from there? Like, is there another one you enter, or can like anyone?
that's a good question. I honestly don't know.
Maybe they'll explain at the event.
Yeah.
Maybe. So where do you see this going? You said you're taking it serious, so that's a big thing. Big step.
Yeah, for sure. I'm honestly just trying. I'm doing everything that I possibly can right now. Like, that includes the marketing, like making my music, the music videos, like the connections, going to all the events. It's everything, right? And I'm literally just taking every opportunity that I can, because my ultimate goal is just to be able to make a living off of doing what I love, right? And I'm not trying to be like super big or famous, but it kind of seems like I'm going in that direction. Like, I'm trying to do that because I feel like the steps.
It comes with it, but it's
Exactly,
not like
yeah.
you're running for the fame.
Yeah,
You're just like,
yeah.
you want to build off your passion, and making money that way would be a dream.
Exactly, yeah. But I'm always going to be pushing to do like more, because I feel like there's always room for growth, and it's
100%.
good to do the most that you can, right? So I do want to do the best that I can with this, and whether that means like if I was famous or if I was just making a living, like, as long as I'm doing what I love, then that's all I care for.
Yeah. So how are your parents with that? Like, did you have to break the news? You're like, hey, so next year I'm not going to go to post-secondary, and I'm going to like strive to make this a full-time gig. Like, were they like, Brianna, you're crazy? Or were they like, you know what? We support this. Like, let us know if you need help.
A little bit of both.
Really?
Yeah. So it was like last year, but they kind of had an idea. They told me, because I think they noticed that I was kind of straying from the education that I was doing, and I was always doing music things. And then they saw that I posted more more videos on YouTube of covers and stuff. They were like, oh, she's like going back into this. And then
so they started connecting the dots.
Yeah, a little bit. But when I told them, they were like, they do just want me to be happy. And like, I really appreciate that. They're always really supportive. But at the same time, they want me to have stability, right? And there's not a lot of that guaranteed.
Doesn't.
Yeah. In the music industry. So, but they trust my judgment, I believe. And like, the last year or so, like they've been really supportive and they know that I'm working really hard. So them seeing that is good for them too, right? Because they know that I'm not just making a joke out of this. And when I say I'm going to do it, I'm really doing it. So they're really supportive now. Like,
so how'd the conversation go?
I don't remember exactly. It's kind of a blur, but
so I'm not going to school and I'm going to be a musician.
I just told them, I was like, I'm going to take this year. That was not this year, but last year. So.
Okay.
But I told them, I was like, I'm going to take a year and I'm going to do what I can with my music. Because that's how I started out with it. I didn't say all of a sudden I'm going to be a musician. I was just like, I'm going to see what I can do. And the more that I saw what I could do, the more I wanted to do it more seriously. And so when I first told them that, they were like, okay. And then they were like, well, what does that mean?
It's not a shocking reaction. Like,
yeah.
My parents did for something very similar. Well,
yeah.
I'll explain
They were like,
after.
what does that mean? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm just going to figure it out. And they were like, okay. And then the more that I started getting serious with it, they'd bring it up sometimes. They'd be like, so are you going back to school? Like, what's happening? And I'm like, well, I'm just doing like the most that I can. And then I think more recently, like when I've been doing more stuff and they realize that this is what I want to do. And then I'm putting my everything into it. And we've had a few conversations here and there where I tell them like, I want to do this. And like, this is, and they see that obviously.
Yeah.
Right. So they're supportive now. That back then it was like what are you doing?
Yeah, they seem like the traditional type too with their strong education backgrounds, like engineering. You said your dad was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine they're like, what's his backup plan? Like,
yeah,
what?
And my dad comes from like sorry.
It's okay.
He comes from a place where he comes from Mexico, and like there's no opportunity in Mexico to just jump off education and go do music, right? Like that's not a thing there. So it's
very
really
lucky to live where we do.
Exactly, yeah. So it makes sense. Like I understand why they're like that, and I feel like any parent would be, right? Because it's hard to see your kid just jump onto something that isn't guaranteed. But yeah, you know, I'm putting my everything, so they appreciate that.
Yeah. No, my parents were similar when I mean, I did go to school, but it was still kind of in the same field of my passion. So television and film production is what I went to school for. And after, I want to say halfway through second year, because the program was only 2 years, I had the conversation with my dad because I was having an internship coming up and he was like, okay, like it's really important you make these connections, blah, blah, blah. Like maybe you'll get hired after on. And although I was open to that, I was at the same time like, I think I want to take the next year to like fully focus on YouTube and creating a podcast and see what I can do with my platform. And like my dad, coming from a little bit of an entrepreneurship background, understood, but my mom was more like, what? Like,
yeah.
What? No. The next step is to go get the 9 to 5. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And my dad kind of had the same, was like, he was split right down the middle. He had that same kind of feelings as my mom as well. But he was a little more open to exploring the idea because he was very involved in what I do behind the scenes. Like my mom does know what I do, and I'm sure she'll listen to this podcast. But like my dad knows the programs I use and, you know, what I dump all my money into for equipment and all of that. And same thing as you, like, as though they were a little bit scared, my dad's like, well, you know what, like if you're serving, which is like kind of the perfect job that's all over the place, but also very flexible to work into what you're doing.
Yeah.
He was like, you know, if that's what you can do to keep your financial stability and, you want to give this a run, like, let's go, let's see what can happen within a year. But you also have to give yourself kind of like progress moments or times, like, okay, after 6 months, what have I progressed in? Have I gone anywhere? Is there more I could be doing? Is it going to be the same for the next 6 months? Like you kind of have to gauge and go from there. So I was like, okay, fair enough. I'll do that for the next year. We'll see what happens. And they've been really supportive along the way too.
I think they want to see too that like you have goals, right? Like they don't want to
100%.
They don't want you to just be winging it. And so like they ask me sometimes, they're like, oh, what's next? Like what are you doing now? And I'm like, I have answers.
Exactly. If you don't have answers, or it's like figuring it out. I mean, you can use that every now and then when you really truly are figuring it out. But it's like your parents seeing the music videos, or they're seeing you collab with people or going to these events. Like there's physical things to see. Exactly. But when they don't see that stuff, it's like, okay, well then what are you doing? Mm-hmm. So it's like my like physical thing, I guess, would be a video or a podcast episode, or contacting guests to come onto the podcast, things like that. So they need to see it actually, the action happening.
Exactly. Yeah.
For them to kind of validate like, okay, she's not just sitting on her bum all day and just, you know, getting her nails done, getting spray tans. Although that would be nice. I'm kidding. Maybe sometimes. So do you have any merch? Because I know you mentioned that guy that came into your restaurant.
Are
you
I'm working on it. Spoiler. But I'm hoping to have it I'm going to do an EP release party, and I'm hoping to have it there as well, so like people can purchase it on site, and then I'll probably have it available online as well.
So is it going to be like t-shirts? Are you going to like tell us anything?
Yeah, there's going to be like some apparel, and I don't want to spoil it.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's going to be some items.
Mainly just like apparel though. Yeah.
Awesome. Oh my God. So what's the EP party looking like? Do you want to explain what that is?
So it's just like it's just a celebration pretty much of my EP release, right? And it's just like something for me personally, and like for people to come and like connect with me in person, because I know a lot of people who hear my music, but I've actually like never talked to them, right? Or like I met them online, or I really never see them. So it's like a good event for me to see those people again. And
for
stuff
you,
like that. Exactly.
It's your event, so it's like everyone's there for you.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have like some live performances, and like I'm gonna perform my own music, and then we'll have like the merchandise, and like there's gonna be like photographers and stuff, like just like a fun event for people to go to and like interact and see the music and everything like that.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Are you getting anyone to help you throw this event, or is this like
100%? Yeah. I don't think I'd be able to do it alone. Like,
yeah, it's a lot of work. Like I was listening to a podcast the other day about this like 19-year-old girl that's like an entrepreneurship. She's freaking doing better than me at 19. And she was talking about throwing an event and like having goodie bags and reaching out to companies. And I was like, how are you doing this at 19? And like one of the biggest things she said was, next time I cannot do it by myself. Like I need to hire some type of help just to like help put it together and manage it, because like she still had to grow her platforms and like, you know, work on her other stuff. So to fully throw herself into creating this big event, although it's important to her and she wants to be involved, you can't do it all.
Yeah,
you can't do it all. Something else gives.
Yeah, for sure. And like I've never planned an event before, so this is new to me, and I'm learning so much, which I like, right? Like I always like to pick up new skills and do new things, which is why I try to do a lot of it on my own. But accepting help is like so important for sure. Yeah, and I have people who are helping me, you know, find the venue and like figure out stuff with my merch, and like it's really important. Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to do it on my own.
Yeah, it would definitely be a lot. So this is kind of backtracking now real quick, but did you go to school at all after high school?
I did. Yeah, I went to school only for a year. I took nursing, and
what school?
McMaster.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was a really good program, and I met some really great people, and I thought I wanted to do it, and even like throughout the year I was like, this is what I want to do, you know.
Making your plan.
Yeah, and because the thing is, after high school I was like, I need to be practical. What am I gonna do? You know, because my parents aren't gonna let me do music, and like I shouldn't do music. Like that's just how I developed in my head, right? Like I wasn't really listening to my heart, and which is like sometimes you have to do that. You have to listen to your head, right? But
sometimes,
I think, yeah.
Or else I don't know where any of us would be if we always listened to one.
But I think like in this case, I made the wrong choice by doing that. But I definitely learned a lot. Like that year wasn't wasted. Yeah. And, but at the end of the year, like I just realized it wasn't for me. And you really, really, especially that profession, like any profession, but especially with nursing, I feel like you have to love it to do it. 'Cause it's such a draining job, and like, it's really hard, you know, like
long hours too, no?
Yeah. Like we weren't doing a lot of long hours because it was only first year, but I could see what was coming. But I mean,
once you get into the profession.
Yeah. I could see what was coming out. It's like, I don't think I'd be happy doing this like the rest of my life. And
that's okay.
Yeah. And I kept on resorting back to music. Like throughout the year, I'd get distracted. I wouldn't do my work, and I'd just go do music. And
how are your marks? Music.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't partying. I was just like sitting in the piano in the basement. But like it just like it hit me that this wasn't for me, you know. But I learned a lot that year for sure.
Did you join any like music groups or anything while you were at McMaster, or you didn't have time for that?
No, honestly, no. It's like a really busy program. Like you just gotta study. So I didn't really have any time for that.
Yeah, your extra time went to music.
Yeah.
So, do you have any sneak peeks for the future? Share? Are you starting to work on I know it's soon, but like your next album?
Not my next album yet. I really want to work. I just really, really want to promote the one that I've done now, because like I put so much work into it, and like some of those songs, like I feel like people haven't even heard them yet, right? And like some people on my social media might see it as repetitive, but it's like really some people haven't seen it yet. And I'll make a post and someone's like, oh, we've already seen this. Someone else is like, oh, I haven't heard this song, right? And so I really want to like push that out there and get people to hear it. And I want to do a video as well for Sober, so that might be coming as well. Yeah.
You should. Yeah, when you release like I think it was like a little tidbit or a clip on your Instagram of why am I blanking? Guessing Game on Guessing Game.
Oh yeah.
I remember like just listening to that little clip, I'm like, I don't know why I don't have this song already. So I like went to go look. This is such a dumb blonde moment on my part, but I spelled your name wrong because I have Spotify. So I looked it up at the gym. I was with my boyfriend and I was like, babe, I cannot find her anywhere. He's like, what do you mean? Like, it's got to be on all platforms. I was like, I know. Like, what's wrong with me? So we like looked. He's like, you spelled it wrong. And I was like,
God.
oh my. So I found it, and then I listened to it for my gym session. I'm like, this is actually a banging album. Like, you're right. Like, some people just like haven't heard it yet, and I think that's like what's missing. And it's important to like exactly market and promote.
Yeah, it's like you take one song. Like I released Guessing Game on its own before the EP, and you know I pushed that for like a couple months, and like my EP hasn't even been out for a couple months yet, and there's 6 songs on there, right? So it's like you gotta give so much time to each song, right? Especially when you just release it and there's not a music video for every song, so not everyone knows that there's multiple songs.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. Like, oh, just a one-hit wonder. You're like, no. There's more. That's so funny. I was gonna ask something else. Okay, well, I lost my train of thought, but we'll talk about our Starbucks drinks real quick because I just thought that was funny. What did you get?
So I made a custom tea latte.
What did you make?
So it's a jade citrus mint tea with half coconut milk, steamed coconut milk, and then I put 2 honeys in it.
Yum.
Yeah.
Is that your favorite Starbucks drink? What are a few of them? Name them.
Yeah.
Being a Starbucks barista, you learn all the secrets and the mixes and
it's true. Yeah.
You know.
I know. I make some annoying drinks sometimes. Like
honestly though, like it's just to be expected at this point. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like 7 steps. Psh, give me 10.
It's true. In the winter, like this is probably like my favorite drink just because I try not to drink a lot of coffee because I'm really bad at that. Like I usually drink a lot of coffee.
And will that just like make you super hyper or like what?
No, I just get dependent on it. And then yeah, it's not good.
Me too. I have to cycle off every now and then.
Yeah. I recently stopped drinking it so that I could come back to myself without coffee.
This is how I am, not caffeinated.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So like this is usually what I get, but in the summer if I want to get something like cold, I don't drink dairy, so like I always have like almond milk or like coconut milk. I usually do almond milk, but
do you have an allergy or you just don't?
No, I just don't drink it. Like it just doesn't really agree with me, and like I honestly don't like it. Like I just don't like milk. I don't know.
But will you eat like cheese?
I do, but in moderation. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like healthier without it. And it depends on your body, right? Like everyone's body is different. So just personally for me, like I feel like I do better without it. So I don't really eat a lot of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I love almond milk and coconut milk. I don't know last time I drank like a cup of milk like that.
Yeah.
At this point, it just grosses me out. But when I was in Europe, they didn't have like almond milk, any milk alternative.
Oh, really?
Anywhere, unless you went to a vegan shop or like cafe.
Oh.
Which was only one spot in Portugal. Literally, out of our whole like 4 countries we visited, one spot. So I mean, I'll have a splash of milk in my coffee just to like flavor it if like there's nothing, but I really don't prefer it
Fair
either.
enough. Yeah.
But I love cheese, like nachos or like. I like mac and cheese, but I didn't grow up like having that often, so it's not something I'm like, oh my god, I need it.
Yeah.
But yeah, dairy can be a bad one. What's a cold drink that you get from Starbucks?
I'll usually do like an iced latte with way too many espresso shots.
What's way too many? And what size?
Like maybe a grande with like 4. Yeah.
I was gonna say venti, but like grande.
Yeah, and I just and it's not even because like I actually like it. Like I like the coffee and the caffeine, and people are like, that's so disgusting. But I just like I don't know, I'm so used to it, and I feel like, and sometimes I like need it. I'm like I need the caffeine. So that's what I'll get, or I'll get like a iced green tea, just plain green tea.
Yeah, I like the green teas. Green teas are good. I don't know what my favorite is. I like the peach tranquility is like my favorite. I'm so happy that you said they brought it back.
I know.
They got rid of it for a while.
They did.
But why?
And I used to love it too. And then so when you told me that, I was like just walking in the Starbucks and I was like, shit, I don't think they have it. And then, sorry, I don't know what it is. And
it's okay. You kind of whispered it.
And then I walked into the Starbucks and I saw it there. I was like, oh, I guess it's back. Yeah, they like brought it back and got rid of it a few times. I don't even know why.
They did that with a couple teas, didn't they?
Yeah. I think they told me like it wasn't selling well, but I swear that was like everyone's favorite.
Yeah, I was like, that's like the default, like because they don't have chamomile, like just plain chamomile.
Yeah.
So doesn't this have chamomile in it? So this would be our default.
I think so.
Sell.
Yeah. It's like
this is the closest thing. And then we didn't have it at all. And it was like, well, this doesn't make sense. Because now when
Yeah.
someone asks for it, we don't have anything that has that. Just,
I know. Yeah, we don't
like,
have any
ingredient.
like tranquil teas, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, that's weird. So that's like my tea, like something that's not caloric that I'll like have, or
Yeah.
like when I'm sick, which is how I'm kind of am now. Frappuccinos are way too heavy. Like, I don't know who can drink those. Just like, I remember when I was little and the happy hour, like buy one, get one half deal thing that they
Yeah.
have going on. My sister and I did it when we went to like a dance competition once in Niagara Falls. And this was back when they had cotton candy fraps. Like, it's really just a raspberry syrup. But
Yeah.
we called cotton candy fraps back then. And we got these venti pink fraps. We were like, felt disgusting after. Cause like, I don't think we drank almond milk at that point. Like, this was years and years and years ago.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the heaviest drink ever. I don't know why anyone orders fraps. And I don't like, when you have those frappy hours is what they would call it, I think. The whole lineup would just be kids.
Yeah, I
like,
know.
it'd be like teeny boppers getting their like venti, like extra whip.
Yeah, I know.
Gross.
Because they don't know, right? Like even when I was a kid, I used to have those like with my sister too. And then when I started working at Starbucks, I was like, what is this? Like I can't drink this.
Yeah, this is like gross.
Yeah.
Or I'm really boring, honestly. I'll get a tall blonde in a grande cup so then it leaves room for milk. And then I'll ask for almond milk on the bar and then I'll just put some Splenda in it. But yeah, I just found some of this drinks really overrated. Or like when I found out how to make a caramel macchiato? Which was when you throw the shot on the top affogato?
Yeah,
Did
caramel
I even
macchiato.
say that right? I don't even know. Trying to be fancy with my lingo here. I was like, wait, the whole cup is literally milk, and then you just throw one shot in. I was like, people pay $5 for this. I was like, this is insane. And like one of my best friends, that's what she gets every single time. I'm like, ew. Well, she gets it iced, but yeah, I was just like, oh my God.
I know.
Yeah, so I'm simple. I'll get this or the coffee. And yeah, I feel like even at my Starbucks interview, I had a coffee. Like I was so boring.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like everyone gets like fun drinks or like.
I know. Because I feel like when you work there, you know what goes into every drink. And then you just know it. You just like don't think it's worth it. Or like you just see it so many times that you're over
but you
it.
didn't even get it free, but you're like, I don't want a $6 drink.
Yeah. You're just like, I'll just have a tea.
Have you ever tried the nitro cold brew?
I have, yeah.
Amazing. That's
It is
one other
pretty
thing
good.
I would get, but that's like probably one of the more expensive things on their menu
I
for
think so,
sure.
yeah.
Like you need to be like, okay, today I want to spend $6 to get caffeinated. And like it's a great pre-workout drink for sure.
Yeah.
But oh man, yeah, but not many places have it. Like I specifically would just drive to the Starbucks I used to work at because it's one of the only ones kind of in the area that has the taps.
Oh, okay.
And even then I remember once I ordered it to go like on the app and I drove to go get it. And it was like early on a Sunday morning and I had to go downtown. I forget what for. I think I was volunteering for the Canadian Screen Awards.
I was gonna say you went all the way downtown for the
yeah.
coffee.
Well, no, I went like to the Starbucks and then I went downtown. But it was so like out of my way because like one of the roads where we live was completely closed. And I was like, oh, this is such like an annoying thing. Drove all the way there like, oh, we actually don't serve this before 7 a.m. Like,
What?
they were like, we actually don't even have cold brew. I'm like, I'm gonna lose my mind. I was so mad. And then I'm so annoying. I called the customer support or like whatever customer service number, and I was like, I just want to say I was really disappointed this morning. Like this is like a $6 drink, and it didn't even say out of stock on the app. And I came to the store, and they didn't have it, and I was really upset. And then I got something else that was like of lesser value, and I was really upset. So she gave me like a full refund of it back on my card. So like, next time I'm calling before I go because screw my whole plan. Like that was.
Oh my God, yeah. I know you can't trust the mobile order thing anymore.
You really can't.
Yeah.
Like people, because like I don't know if it's the shift supervisors, maybe they've changed it, but like don't they have to go into it on their end to like
I think so.
put something if something's out of order?
Yeah, but they don't.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I didn't work there long enough, but yeah, I feel like they didn't often go in there and be like, oh, we're out of these bagels. Like they would just let it.
Yeah.
They come in, oh, sorry, we don't have the bagel, and then they'd be either kind of mad or they'd be like, okay, whatever. What's your next closest thing?
Yeah.
Which most of the time. I'm like not that difficult.
Yeah.
I promise. But it's like nitro cold brew is not at every shop, so it's
that's
frustrating.
Plus you drove all that way, right?
Yeah, I was so annoyed. I'm trying to think of any fun other questions I can ask you. I think that's about it. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate
Thank you for having me.
you being on this episode. Her links will all be in the show notes of this episode. And you guys could hit the subscribe button if you're on the Apple Podcasts app so you don't miss on any future episodes. And then all the other social media links will also be in the notes of this podcast episode. All right. Well,
Thank
thanks
you.
for coming on. Bye.
Bye.